Yes, we are, Amanda, and we're broadcasting live from Chanute, Kansas, here on the campus of Chanute High School, home of the Chanute Blue Comets. As we have a lot on the line this evening in SEK football play between the Labette County Grizzlies and the Chanute Blue Comets. Before we dive into our Tank Connection pregame show, we'd like to invite you to listen to tonight's head coach interview with Sean Price. A lot is on the line indeed in between these 2 or 4 white lines in front of us as we welcome you into the booth on the west side of Chanute Stadium. I'm Jack Leake alongside John Kohler on the call this evening. As John, we'll go ahead and just break the news. For those of you who aren't aware, Labette County, yes, is playing for a share of the SEK title. That doesn't feel right to say, but they've won 2 out of their last 3, and they've earned it, John. They can do it tonight.
Yeah, and it's against a familiar face, Chanute, as I think 3 out of the past 5 years we've played Chanute for a share, or if not the outright SEK League title. So this is familiar ground for this coaching staff and some of these players. They've been in this position before. Now let's see if we can flip the script and finally get a win over these guys.
As it would definitely be, a monster or a demon that you can exercise in your mind, if you will, because Chanute has been one of those teams, like Coach Price mentioned in the pregame show. He says, heck, these guys have been around for 25 years. They all have beards by now, right? And it just feels like you can't escape these guys. Eric Erb, Dagan Dean, Ty Leedy, the 3-headed monster on this offense. Seems like they've been around forever, John. And we talked about this in the pregame, or before we went live on the air actually, about how Chanute has the pieces of what make an elite high school football team, at least in 4A or at least in the SEK, however low you want to stoop. But they have the makings of an elite high school team because they're seasoned, they have talent. You look at the seniors as it's senior night here at Chanute High School. They line from the 15-yard line all the way down to the 25. Granted, there's some cheerleaders and band members in there, but there's a lot of football, too, that made their way to the locker room. And they're big guys. I mean, they look like college athletes, and they soon will be. So how do you take down these seasoned veterans?
You don't let their offense touch the ball. I mean, I think that's one thing that we have to do well tonight. Keep ball control.
Yeah.
Do no turnovers, nothing, and run the ball. Run the dang football tonight if you're the Labette County Grizzlies.
As time of possession is going to be huge, but I also agree the most, turnovers. You're right, John. You turn it over, you're going to be down an extra score. I'm not saying Chanute's going to score every time they get the ball, but if you turn it over, this season crew's going to capitalize. And, we discussed this game a little bit, how can Labette win it? We were trying to come up with a line. How many points is Labette going to have to score to be able to win? You and I were flirting with 40. We think this game, and it was mentioned earlier in the pregame interview, this game could be like a 40-30, like a 35-28. They're going to have to get up there, and Kendall Holtzman has been able to help them do it. They average 19 points a game, and that's including the goose egg at Circle. So you take that away, their average is around 22, 23 points a game. This is a team, everybody, that averaged 7 points a game last season. Kendall Holtzman has grown extraordinarily. He threw for 12 interceptions and 5 touchdowns last year, and this season he's thrown 16 touchdown passes and 1,700 yards. That makes 240 yards a game. So Kendall Holtzman has been able to help this team put up points. How can he continue?
Find Griffin Eaton all night long, baby. Bread and butter. But, yeah, this Chanute defense, I know they've lost a lot of guys in the back end. Sean Williams, Cam Custer, and a couple other guys in that defense. So it's a younger secondary that we're facing tonight. So Archerbright, Price, I'm sure they came up with some concepts they want to run against these guys this week. Holtzman, he just has to do his job tonight. He just has to make the reads and give his receivers the best chance to make plays.
You mentioned Griffin Eaton. He's coming off of one of his better games of the season. He caught 183 receiving yards, found the end zone twice. He has 9 touchdowns on the season. As we take a look back at Labette's last 3 games, they beat Independence 30-23, lost to Coffeyville 32-14, and beat Fort Scott 25-8. As Chanute, on the other hand, undefeated, 7-0 record. They average 30 points a game. That's why you and I were saying Labette's going to have to score upwards of 40 points. Hopefully not tonight, depending how the defense is able to handle this season crew. But Chanute's won their last 3 games. They beat Coffeyville last week at the Ville, 40-20, but let me tell you, that was a close game. Coffeyville had them beat early, but that's not how you beat Chanute. You got to beat them in the fourth quarter. They outscored Coffeyville 20-0 in the fourth quarter. So how can Labette County, John, keep their tank full throughout the entire game? As we will answer that question when we return in 2 minutes as the national anthem is taking place. Welcome, everybody, back to Chanute High School as we're just under or around the 5-minute mark before kickoff of what will determine the winner or winners of the SEK League title. Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by Labette Health. Our pregame show sponsor, which you're listening to, is brought to you by Tank Connection. And, John, right before the break, we talked about how Labette can play 4 full quarters of football this evening. And you and I are kind of talking about running the football might be the answer. Do you agree that running the football can be how Labette County can really keep it on teams, keep the offense off the field? Because we only average around 70 rushing yards a game.
Yeah, definitely. Run game on all levels of football is extremely important, especially if you're the underdog in these matchups.
Yeah.
Because think about it. It doesn't even really have to do with the game of football. The more time you have the ball, that's less time the other team has to score. So
right.
If you think about it like that, it's pretty easy. Run the ball, keep the clock moving. I think the big thing is winning the turnover battle, forcing turnovers and keeping control of the ball. I think that's what's really going to determine whether or not we come out of here with the SEK title or we go home empty-handed.
As if you're a numbers person, something to chew on, Labette's coming off of their best rushing game of the year. Against Independence, who hasn't won a game in the SEK, but still put up a fight at Labette. Labette County ran for 135 yards. Jamal Jackson was the beneficiary of 75 of those yards, scored a touchdown. So did Chandler Henson. Both freshman running backs scored a touchdown last week. But if we transition over to Chanute, we talked about Eric Erb. He had 5 rushing touchdowns, 18 passing touchdowns, and a 70% completion percentage. That's about as genuine, as legit of a senior quarterback you're going to find around the state. How do you slow down Eric Erb and the guy he throws the ball to? Dagan Dean has caught 12 of his 18 touchdown passes. How do you slow down that duo?
You really just have to pick your poison. There's weapons all over the Chanute Blue Comet offense. I know we're talking about Dagan Dean as being the number 1 option, but there's also a really good receiver. And Seamster.
Caden Seamster.
He's a solid receiver.
He's great.
I know he's gone on visits to Pitt State and Fort Hays State, so that's another college guy you're facing. And then Ty Leedy, the running back, they're averaging over 8 yards a carry in the ground game. So, you're going to have to pick your poison, really. Who do you want to beat you? And right now, I feel if I'm the Grizzly coaching staff, I'm making Caden Seamster beat me tonight. He's the lesser of the Chanute Blue Comet offense. If you want to find a weakness,
yeah,
because they got monsters on the O line. The other skill positions are just as good. So just pick your poison.
And you're in a tough situation when you say Caden Seamster might be the lesser of the players we just mentioned. That's a compliment to Seamster, if anything, because those guys are killer athletes.
They're just dominant athletes.
Yeah.
I know Herb and Dean, they go on multiple visits to K-State. It seems like every other week. So, this is some highly recruited talent that we are going against tonight.
As Ty Leedy is responsible for 10 rushing touchdowns on the season, 121 yards per game. Running the football against Labette County is something teams do a lot, and I don't blame them, as it seems like Labette County, I think of Wellington a lot. It seems like Wellington always runs the ball out on Labette, and it's hard whenever Labette faces a team that just pounds it, and Chanute has the option to pound it and air it out. And if they choose to go with Leedy, that makes Erb's job that much easier. So I'm really curious to see how Labette is going to schematically approach this Chanute offense, as we'll take a quick look before kickoff just to kind of explain everything. This is inside the SEK. Labette County's 2-1, Fort Scott is 1-2, and Independence is 0-3. So Chanute, no matter what, will wake up tomorrow morning as SEK champions. But if Labette wins, it's a share with Coffeyville, Labette, and Chanute. Chanute wins, they're outright SEK champs. So Labette County has a chance to become SEK champions while making Coffeyville champs alongside them and making Chanute share it. So I hope that all made sense, but moral of the story, Labette wins tonight, John. They're SEK champs. Labette's going to receive the opening kickoff tonight. They're going to be working north to south into a decent breeze this evening as it's coming out of the south end of the field. A 9-mile-per-hour wind, to be exact. It looks like a lot bigger gust when you look at the American flag there in the northeast corner. as the Blue Comet fans are on their feet and ready for kickoff. The ball's teed up at the 40 in the middle of the field, and it is booted away. It's a short pooch. We've seen those a lot recently. It's bobbled and handled at the 37 by Labette County. Barrett Heston will make his way across the 39. They're going to mark him dead at the 40, it looks like. Maybe the 41. 40. So these little pooch kicks, the wind was at his back. You'd think he could put some more heat on it.
I don't know. It seems like all year all we've gotten is pooch kicks. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to catch us sweeping one of these times. I do not know.
Sonny Padilla is the kicker. Jamal Jackson is the halfback lined up behind Holtzman. Jackson coming off of a game where he scored a touchdown and 3/4 were
to the side, so maybe it's shifting the linebackers over and just creating lanes for them to run the ball through.
That'll do it for quarter number 1 from Chanute. It wasn't pretty for Labette, but they have 3 more quarters to get a shot at these Blue Comets. At the end of 1, Labette trails 36-0. Labette County will be working with the wind in Chanute territory for the first time this evening. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is Grizzly Football on KLKC Parsons.
Bowen Pharmacy supports the Parsons Vikings here, and here, and here. It's our goal to keep you covered. At Bowen Pharmacy, we give no excuses for you not to make it to the game. And it's always a great day.
Right sideline. Ball is right in the middle of the field at the Chanute 44. 3rd down and 9. It exactly is. Jamal Jackson is the running back. 2 receivers to the left and right. Here's the snap. Holtzman pressured up the middle, steps into the pocket, grabbed from the backside, dumps down to Blackledge across the 40, and he'll be tackled right there. The ball will be spotted around the 38-yard line, so 4th down and 3 for Labette coming up.
Yep, great pocket awareness from Holtzman right there to step up and find Blackledge coming across the way. And if it wasn't a nice tackle there by the linebacker of Chanute, Blackledge is going to have the first down and then some. So great play overall, and it's setting us up with a more manageable 4th.
Play of the second quarter if you're just joining us. Jamal Jackson is still the back, 2 slot receivers, slot on the left side. Ball is on the right hash. Labette County using up all of this play clock, and yep, they're going to be forced to take a timeout. We'll use this as an opportunity to thank our sponsors. Labette Health is the title sponsor of tonight's broadcast of Labette County Grizzly Football. Other sponsors include Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clemens Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Herman Lumber, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Labette Bank, Commercial Bank, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Tank Connection, USD 506, The Corner Store, Wood Insurance Center, Community National Bank, SEK Orthopedic, Day and Zimmerman. As we thank all of our sponsors for making John and I's job possible. As John, this is a big 4th down for Labette because this is by far their best opportunity to put 6 on the board as they are in Chanute territory inside the 40. What are you looking for real quick here on 4th and 3?
Griffin Eaton.
Enough said. As let's see where Griff is, slot left side. Chanute showing pressure. They bring it. Holtzman pressured. It's a screen to Eaton. He gets the first down and falls backwards to the 30-yard line. Good call, John, off of a design screen.
Oh, yeah, that's something that we've seen a couple of times, I believe. Actually, I'm not going to sit here and call the play out, but it's just a missile screen or whatever. Griff came down the line, lineman with the D-line through, and it just creates more of a pocket for Griffin to run with.
They'll spot the ball at the 30-yard line. 2 receivers to the left side. Holtzman takes the snap. It's another pass. He'll pump fake, and he'll be sacked way back beyond the 35 at the 36 is where the forward progress will be marked. So Holtzman takes sack number 2.
Yeah.
That's a loss of 6.
That's one that shouldn't have been taken. I mean, that's a one-step and throw as he had a slant to Boyle on the outside. It's a quick read. He's an outside linebacker there. You have the bubble with Blackledge and Boyle on the outside with a slant. Eaton was there just to drive the safety up to allow that play to develop. So just a bad sack taken.
2nd and 17 at the 36-yard line. As here's a trick play from Eaton down the sideline to Trey Vincent. It's caught inside the 5. Touchdown, Labette County. Eaton to Vinson. I think that's Griff's touchdown throw number 2 as they ran one at home. The same exact trick play as they ran that play a year ago on this field. Is the end zone for touchdown number 1.
Oh, yeah. Or it was Trey Vincent, actually. He sold the block, got past his man, eating the former quarterback, put it right on the money.
As Joe Page is going to get another crack at a PAT kick as he made one at Fort Scott. As it's a good snap, good hold, and the kick is blocked. Attempt is no good for Labette County, but they do put 6 on the board with 10 minutes left in the first half for a 36-yard touchdown. Will KC Parsons.
Day & Zimmerman, one of the largest privately owned companies in the U.S. with operations across the country and internationally. We are comprised of multiple brands that put people to work, protect our freedoms, and improve the world. The Parsons, Kansas location has manufactured munitions for over 50 years for our country's warfighters. Day & Zimmerman, $2 an hour on our weekend crew. Work a 12-hour day shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and receive 40 hours of pay. We also offer competitive benefits. Apply today.
Joe Page is set to kick off for the first time this kickoff after halftime as Chanute will receive. But Labette County's coming off of their first score of the game, a trick play. Griffin Eaton threw it to Trey Vincent for a touchdown, 36 yards. Joe Page has it teed up at the 40-yard line. Wind is at his back as sometimes he kicks those low line drives. It could be a burner, and it is. It's going to be backwards handoff at the 15, and here comes Leedy across the 35, still spinning, still dive. A flag flies from the white hat on the left side of the field. It's got to be on Chanute, you'd think, unless Labette grabbed a face mask or something.
Block in the back, probably. I think that's what they're going to call right there.
As we'll see what the official calls it. Sideline warning? That's what that is, right?
I believe so.
As from where he threw the flag and where he threw it, that's strange. Well, they're backing it up.
I'm going to have to go get me a handbook.
That's
see
interesting.
What these signals mean.
Man, I'm telling you, I think it was Wellington. They have their refs mic'd up. You can hear them on the speakers. But yeah, I mean, high school, it's kind of hard when you can't hear the official. The communication between the referees and the fans and people in the booth is pretty much nothing. But either way, a penalty.
It's not a very common one at that.
Was called, and it'll be first and 10 at the 30. A give to Leedy, tries to bounce around the right tackle, and does. He's shifty. A flag flies from the secondary where the ball was handed off around the line of scrimmage. Leedy with a gain of 6, but we'll see what the penalty is. You have to assume it'll be holding on Chanute, as it's going to be a chop block on Chanute. Don't see that every day.
No.
So that'll back up Chanute. So Labette County with a little bit of momentum here. Obviously scored their first touchdown, and now some defensive momentum.
Yeah, I think you got to bring this. If you want to fight a chance, I think you have to cut this down to at least a 3-score game, maybe going in a half, or preferably a 2-score game. Find a way to claw yourself back into this thing.
I mean, that's going to be
it's doable.
A big penalty. That's a 15-yard penalty all the way back to the 15. So it is first down and 25. But hey, I mean,
that's first in the trip to St. Louis.
Yeah. Hey, yes. Hey, I was wondering. We had a 4th and 33, and you said Paraguay, I think. So if we have anything over 33, be thinking. First and 25 for now. 3 receivers to the left side. Here is the snap. It's a pass across the middle. It's tipped in the air. Intercepted at the 25. Is that Barrett Heston with interception number 1? Kagan Bates and Barrett Heston each have an interception on the season. The freshmen are making plays in the secondary. Barrett Heston with an interception.
Oh, yeah. The ball got tipped up in there, and Barrett was there to make a play. Really happy for him, as Barrett is just a great kid and a hard worker for this Grizzly defense. It's always good to see a number 8 out there getting an interception. So,
ball was tipped around the 20, and Barrett caught it at the 25. So first and 10, Labette County. Labette County with 2 turnovers, and Chanute just committed their first. Ball is in the red zone for Labette. Man in motion is Blackledge. Here's a fade route. Boyle wide open. It's overthrown.
Great route.
Kendall Holtzman threw it where he should. He threw it right at the pylon, but Boyle was not near where he could get underneath the ball, but he was wide open on the left side.
Yeah, this is something we ran through the year. They were expecting a slant after he'd motioned Blackledge across. That's something that has been a staple of this offense for years now, is the motion, isolate the receiver over. This time it was a double move, slant, go to Boyle. It just didn't work.
2nd and 10 from the 20. Two receivers. As it's going to be 22 for Labette County. That is Tayton Claiborne, as he played nose guard, I think, against Coffeyville.
Something.
And made a play in the backfield. So Tayton Claiborne is known to make plays in the backfield. Here's a loss of 2, 3rd down and 7 for the Blue Comets, with 23 seconds to go in the half, as they can take it to the halftime break if they want to, as it's a couple seconds ahead of the play clock, but they're lining up like they want to run a play. 3rd and 7 from their own 23. Here's the snap, and it's a give up the middle to Leedy, and he's going to be brought down by Shaplowski and Stevens, and that will take us to our halftime break. It wasn't a pretty 24 minutes for Labette County here on the road, as they trail Chanute at halftime 50-6. Chanute will get the ball when we return play or begin play in the 3rd quarter, but for now we'll see how long they put on the clock. They put 15 minutes up there. We'll go ahead and take our usual 8-minute timeout and return with our halftime show, brought to you by Chanute 50, Labette County 6. As our halftime show is sponsored by Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Doctors Gilmore, Newland, and Ray. As we welcome you to the booth, my name's Jack Leake. I'm joined alongside by John Kohler. As John, you know, there's only so much to say when you're down 44 points at halftime, but there are a few numbers to help guide us along the way and a bit of conversation that we can have. Kendall Holtzman's 9 for 16, 51 yards, 1 interception. The team has rushed for, talked about coming in, how can we have a chance, and it was running the ball. So, John, how do you make the score respectable, run the football? I don't think discipline's the problem. I don't think effort's the problem.
Penalties have been outstanding and all that, you know.
Yeah, it has been good.
I think we just ran into a team that is just that more physically gifted than us, and there's always so much you can do when you're guarding and Daganine at 6'4", 209 runs a 4.5 40. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, you just run into this team that's just so fueled with God-given talent. I mean, there's just not much you can do. I mean, you just play your heart out and hope for the best.
Yeah, as Ty Leedy, the senior running back, on the other hand, for Chanute, has rushed for 108 yards. But I tell you, I've been really impressed with that sophomore, Quentin Harding. He had a run for 64 yards there towards the end of the half. He also had a big run. I thought he did. Maybe it was, Caden Seamster had that jet sweep for 26 yards. So Chanute's been pretty much offensively able to do whatever they want and at will. So flipping the script a little bit from offense to defense, how can Labette County, you answered how offensively they can kind of find a way to just move the ball, have production. But in terms of defense, how can you, as well as doing the offensive stuff, defensively just slow the bleeding a little bit? You know, I mean, it feels like they've scored in an average of maybe 45 seconds to a minute. Seriously. So how can you make a change?
I think schematically we're fine. I mean, guys are in positions to make plays. They just aren't wrapping up and tackling. I mean, that's just eyes on thighs, wrap up, we'll be fine. All right, I don't think they'll keep their starters in much longer, so they'll slow down a little bit just from that. I mean, the talent disparity right there, but just wrap up. I mean, fundamentals, pursue the ball, wrap up, you'll be fine. I mean, that's all defense really is.
Right. As, you know, it's been one of those nights. Eric Erb for Chanute has thrown for just 119 yards. He's only thrown 10 passes. This is a team that goes to Ty Leedy first, and then whatever he does, then Eric Erb kind of compliments off of that. Mm-hmm. It's not really Erb then Leedy. It's okay, let's see what he can do, and then maybe pull it and throw over the top of you. It is a lethal duo, but you know, Labette County starts, I think it's 4 freshmen on defense. Early in the season at Circle, or we might still be starting 7 freshmen total. And it's a young team. There's been so many promising signs, and this isn't the same team that we've seen since Circle.
No, it's not.
After the Circle game, Labette looked really solid.
Mm-hmm.
And they really would agree. You're down 44 at half. I mean, it's easy, but I say that to, you know, I'm excited for this team in the next couple years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think anyone thought at the beginning of this year that we'd be playing for a SEK title.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's definitely a sign. Next year, you're wanting to build off this and be back in this position. And guess what? Most of these guys aren't going to be here for Chanute. So, you're going to see whole new faces, whole new Chanute team. Maybe the talent disparity will get a little bit, you know, closer, more fair competition, I guess, to say. So, you're going to have that going for you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely is. You know, Coach Price says it since the beginning of the year. Every single season, he'll say, we want to win the SEK. And, you know, you might just kind of snicker at first and think, well, how are they going to win the SEK? Well, I mean, there's
5 teams.
You play 4 SEK games.
Uh-huh.
4.
Yeah.
4. And Labette's won 2 of 3, and that's overcome. You look getting out of that hole that felt like they had been in the last couple years. You don't win a game last year, but, you know, you have it looks like a good cycle's coming your way. Jamal Jackson, Lawrence Holt. I know I'm missing guys out. It'll be Kendall's senior season next year. Expect them to be in a position to win the SEK again next year, John.
Yeah, definitely. These guys, I think, will be the favorites right up there with Coffeyville to come out and win the thing.
Yeah, as Chanute, I mean, you have to understand, this is a team that is, I think I saw they were ranked 7 in the state in 4A. I know they're top 10, but I mean 8-0 after tonight. Finished the regular season with 3 piece you could ask for, and that piece in person is a senior. That piece in person is over 6 foot tall and a lot bigger than our guys. So, you know, it's tough for any team to beat this. Nobody has beat this Chanute team. So I think you have to keep in perspective who you're playing tonight and not let it bring you down as you head into next week's playoff game, John.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a team where most of these guys, they were a part of that team that played me age last year. And that game came down to, it just speaks to the talent that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. As the clock has expired and they'll tack on a couple more minutes so the teams can stretch. So we'll go ahead and step aside. We thank you for tuning in to our halftime show for tonight's game. Brought to you by Ike Associates of Parsons. Doctors Gilmore, Newland, and Ray was the halftime show. Thanks for tuning in for that. We'll step aside for a 2-minute timeout and come back with our last thoughts before the beginning of the third quarter here on 106.7 KLKC Parsons. "60 seconds until the second half will be underway. From Chanute, Labette County trails the Blue Comets 50-6 as Chanute will receive the kick here in the third quarter. As Labette County, with their first possession of the ball game, threw an interception on the first play from scrimmage, and hopefully Labette will get to return the favor. As I see Seamster down there, and I see Leedy.
They aren't.
I see Harding. I don't see Herb. He's down here still slinging the ball to his backup, I'm assuming. Tanner Reed.
Nah, I think it's going to be number 11 for the Blue Comets coming out. Quarterback Chris Harding, the freshman. He's the only other listed quarterback here on the roster, and he's down there throwing the ball. So, assume it's going to be him.
Very well could be. We'll just have to wait and see.
You know what's interesting? It is October 21st, and it is 70 degrees outside. I'm in shorts and a T-shirt, and I'm not cold right now.
I know. It's nice
This
out.
does not feel normal.
I know. It seems like usually the last couple games of the season, I remember Will and I had a heater. I think it was for the Chanute game up in the press box. I mean, it is a press box, but you're right. It is
Let's
weird.
glib.
as it is a squib kick. It's caught at the 8-yard line. Here come the Blue Comets this direction across the 25 and hit hard. Did he lose the football? I think the returner lost the football, and it'll be recovered by Labette County. And they do return the favor. They force a turnover on Chanute's first play of the second half. First down, Labette County.
Barrett Heston, the freshman, came down as a gunner, forced the fumble, and recovered it. What a play by the freshman, as he has a pick tonight as well.
Barrett Heston's forced 2 turnovers tonight, and that'll give Labette County the ball just a few yards away from the red zone. 1st and 10 at the Chanute 24, and we'll have to wait until the next possession. As, yep, the clock is running.
Hey, who knows? They put up 50.5. Maybe we'll come out, put 50.5 and win this thing.
I like the way you think. In Chanute territory, and they were supposed to get it first. Holtzman takes the snap, rolls out to his right, settles, looks over the top. Eaton overthrows him as Griffin Eaton was open.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right read, though. That corner is definitely sagging off a little bit. I think that one you just throw to the hitch, man. I believe Matthew Boyle. Yeah, I think you should have thrown to Matthew there. He's wide open. I think that was the read, too. It's a smash concept. Griffin ran the corner. Boyle ran the hitch route.
2nd down and 10 from